So it's Tuesday, and we're following up from this last Sunday's discussion, Mark, and we started a new series talking about 30 days to live. Kind of a, kind of a weird, creepy type of thought process. And so when I'm thinking about this, what I'm looking at and trying to get everybody to understand is the biblical principle behind this whole series is to live each day as if it were our last day, and to leave nothing undone in that day. And so Sunday we were talking about what matters most. And so let me ask you a question: Have you gone out and started to figure out what some of your values are? Your 30-day values?
Absolutely. The number, and the number one value that I have is my family. That's number one. If I were to have 30 days, I think I would, lock myself in the room or, in the house for 30 days with my family. And, that's, family is so important to me. As people who know me, that, family is so important to me, and I just want to spend that time, telling them what they mean to me and how much they've done for me and what they mean to me.
So if family is important, and that's important to a lot of us, by the way, if it's so important, then not only recognizing that as a value, don't you have to take some specific actions to show that your family is important?
Well, yeah, you do. You can't just sit there with them in the living room and look and stare at each other. I think you have to let them know, what you value in them, what you look forward to in them, what talking to my younger kids, this is what I've learned in my, years on this earth, or talk to my wife and tell her, everything's going to be okay, and let them know that, I think my kids would still wonder, and although we've talked about it, hey, Dad, where are you going? Hey, I'm going to heaven, and I'm going to be fine, and you guys are going to be fine here because we have a good, loving God, and obviously, God, he's going to be right there with us. And I think that being specific with them about those types of things is very important.
So it's not only having the value, but having a specific action. And unfortunately, or not unfortunately, but really fortunately, that means we have to change some things the way we do life.
Right.
We have to do things differently, because if we keep doing them the same way we've always done them, we're going to keep getting the same results.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then, of course, the last thing I talked about on Sunday was don't forget the God factor in this, that God is He's the instrument of change in our life, and that comes through the Holy Spirit. And to remember that whatever your values are, even if your first value is not family, for some of us, maybe it is work, maybe it's something else, it's your value. And there's no wrong way to say what's important. Now, I can tell you what should be important and what shouldn't be important, but it's what you value that's really kind of important. Now, this Sunday, we're going to break it down a little bit more. I'm just about done with the talk already to talk about relationships. And because overwhelmingly in the surveys, and I want to remind you about those surveys, you can find them on the front page of our website. They're right there, and they're also on the survey tab on the website. To take the 30-day to live survey or the Easter survey, to take those surveys, because I'm getting some really good feedback on there. What I'm finding out already is that most of us aren't so concerned about travel, and most of us aren't so concerned about what we're going to eat or not. Most of us, as we're looking at this survey across the board, we're concerned about relationships. Good relationships and bad relationships. And so we're going to dedicate this whole Sunday to doing that. Now, I need your help. For those of you that are listening to the podcast, I want you to go to the website again, and there's a new survey on there, and it says, what's your love language? Okay? And it's going to give you 5 choices, and I'd love to get your input on that. So if you can help me out, I'm going to put it out on Facebook later on as well. a link to that survey. But help me out by telling me what your primary love language is. And there'll be 6 choices, and you can put "I don't know," and that's a valid response, because I believe there's still people that really don't know what their love language is. And more importantly, I think there's some people that live around you that may not know what your love language is. So I want to encourage you to do that. We're coming up into a busy time in our church. When is it not busy in our church, by the way?
Well, I've been here since January, and since January 2015, it's been busy.
Yeah, and I told Mark when we brought him on, that January, February, and March are always the kind of the slow months. They haven't been slow, and they're not going to be slow, but we're getting into the busy time now. And we got all kinds of things coming up. We have Secret Church coming up a week from this Friday night from 6 to midnight. I know that Mike will be in doing our video and our audio checks this afternoon, and I know that that's all going to be set up ready for us to go. If you've not signed up for Secret Church, it's a 6-hour intensive training talking about how we as Christians live in the culture in which we live in. And I hear, as a pastor, I hear all the time people complaining about our culture. I don't like a lot of our culture. I think a lot of our culture is non-God-like at all. But I can complain about my culture, which is what a lot of us do, or I can also learn how to be a testimony in this culture, and I think that that's what we have to concentrate on. And so we'll see about that. And then after Secret Church comes up, we have a few things coming up right at the beginning of May. We have a men's golf tournament coming up. If you're a golfer in our church, and let me say golfer in our church means that you can spell it, because you don't have to play it, not at our church. Because we have lots of people that are all the way from, we have our pros in the church, and then we have all of our people down here who not even sure how to hold the club. But if you like to get out with the other guys and be on a part of a team and just have a great morning and afternoon of fellowship, you want to sign up for that on the connection card. That's coming up. We have a Mother's Day luncheon coming up on the 10th, which is Mother's Day this year.
The 9th, actually.
We're
doing it on the Saturday.
Yes, the 10th will be Mother's Day.
Yeah.
The luncheon will be on the Saturday, the 9th.
Right.
All right, so you can sign up for that. And so there's all kinds of things coming up that are part of it. And plus, if you're a parent of a youth or a parent of a child, we have children's and youth camps coming up. Those all have deadlines attached to them and deposits due to them. And again, your point of contact for youth camp is Mike Ciolik. And you can get a hold of him at mike@oasisyuma.com. And if you're going to children's camp, you can talk to Mark, and Mark at oasisyuma.com, and he'll be able to get you all the information for children's camp. We are going to be taking up a special offering this year. We're not going to be doing fundraisings per se. I think we have one fundraiser coming up for each of them, but we are going to take up a special offering because camp's expensive, and I know that. Camp this year is between $350 if you're a youth to about $240 if you're a kid, and that gets expensive, especially when you have like 7 kids.
Right,
Mark?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sending all 7. I'm only sending 3, but still, three kids is expensive. I know there's a lot of parents out there who are sending more than 1 kid, and even 1 kid, it's $240, and it's expensive. So
and so our goal this year as a church is to be able to try to lower the cost of camp for everybody across the board. And so what the elders and I have decided this year is we're going to take up a special offering on May 24th. This is going to be above what you normally give to the church. We're not going to cut into what we give to the church. We can't do that. This is called a special offering, and that means above what you normally give, we're going to give to the camps. And what we're going to do is we're going to split those between children's and youth camp, and then we'll take the money and divide it by the number of kids coming, and we'll lower the cost of camp for everybody across the board. Now, Mike and Mark are working outside of the church doing some different fundraisings, and we'll talk about those in the days to come, that are not Oasis-specific fundraisers. And I want you to hear this straight up. You're not required to give to those extra fundraisings. Those are going to be outside the church. But I went asking everybody to participate in the special offering that's coming up. And if you want to be a part of a special event, by all means, please do so. But we don't want to hit you up every Sunday for something reference to camp. And I think that's how our elders and I have decided to do that this year, and I'm looking forward to it. So, next Sunday, coming 30 Days to Live, focusing on what's most important in our relationships. And it's going to be a good talk.
I can't wait for it.
And me too.
I probably can't.
Yeah. All right, Mark. We'll see you guys on Sunday morning.